Here's an E46 M3 that we're going to be doing a carbon fibre roof on. It's a car actually that's used quite a lot on track by the customer, and one that we've been looking after for probably 7, maybe even 8 years now. The owner's had this car for 10 years and has developed it quite nicely. Still quite an original looking vehicle, but actually underneath there are some quite interesting items that are mainly focused on the track, and items that he uses mainly for track. Now the car is a sunroof model, which makes it a little bit harder and is a little bit labour. Well, there is definitely more labour for a sunroof model, because to do a carbon roof on a sunroof car, there is no centre supporting bow, because obviously there's a sunroof sliding mechanism there. So we need to weld in a roof structure piece called a bow. It's about 60 or 70 pounds from BMW, and obviously to do welding inside the car, we have to have lots of protection down, so that seats out, lots of carpet protected and areas and glass and things like that, because we need to do welding. Now the cars that don't have sunroof are a lot easier to do. They can just simply, all the seats can stay in, even the headlining can stay in place, and you just simply take the glass out, take the gutter rails off, drill out the perimeter of spot welds, and then remove the roof and bond the new one on, because there's already a bow in place. Like I say, this isn't the case on the sunroof model, and this is going to take a little bit longer. We've done these ones before. We actually do get inquiries now and again for people that need this doing to sunroof models, because some places don't want to take on the sunroof model jobs because of the extra work and the welding required inside the car. That's not everybody. Most people are quite capable of doing all this. So this car is going to be using a Geoff Steel roof. This was one that the customer supplied. We've used before the Karbonius ones, which are very good, and I think we have done a Geoff Steel one many years back, but yeah, we're going to be doing the Geoff Steel one, like I say, which has been supplied. The other great reason for doing this as well, because the windscreen is slightly leaking on this car from a poor repair previously by an auto windscreen technician, I'd assume, and also it's got the common chips and problems like that, which the customer wants to get rid of. So it's a great time, or what we call man maths. So if you just need one thing done, like a screen replacing, which could simply be done on its own, but whilst it's out, that's a great opportunity to then go and do a carbon roof. So that's what we're going to do: get it into the workshop, get it stripped out, prepared, and then start taking the screens out. So the car is now in the workshop, and we've started the strip out work. You can see there's no seats, no front seats, no back seats. The glass technician is just here to take out the screens. We've got the headlining removed, the C pillars, the B pillars have just been dangled loose, and the A pillars are removed as well internally. So front and rear screens are coming out. Front one's going to be replaced. Hopefully the rear one survives, and then we can think about starting work, taking the sunroof mech out, and then drilling out the spot welds for the roof. So the screens are now out. Front screen, which is going to be replaced, which is over there, and the old the back screen, which came out, I think, okay, and we're going to keep that one, which allows us to then start taking the gutter trim rails off to then expose the spot weld joints, which are also front and back and down the sides. And interestingly, this is why the screen had to come off, not only to get to the area, but this car had a water leak, so it probably had a screen replaced before, and we knew that the water was coming in on this side, and you can now clearly see why it was coming in, because there was a gap in the sealer, just a complete stop gap and a start gap, and water was coming in at that corner there. So it's now all going to be done right and correctly. Interestingly, this was a genuine screen as well. I've just seen BMW logo. I don't know if it was the original one, but what a shame that had to come out. But like I say, that's just total man maths. You know, the screen needs replacing or needs rebonding, so whilst that's out, that's a perfect time to upgrade to a carbon roof. So as you can see, the roof came off in the time-lapse video, which was quite nice to see. Dave drilled out all the spot welds and then lifted the front of the roof, lifted the corners, and then the glue separated and the old roof skin came off. Now this is obviously the most trickiest way to do an E46, as in this car's had a sunroof, so there's tons more work you have to do for sunroof cars. You have to weld in what they call the roof bow, which is this piece here. Now that normally wouldn't be there because that's where the sunroof cassette lives, but on cars that haven't got a sunroof, there's too much of an open expanse to have just a flat piece of metal or even carbon fibre, and there would be sort of buffeting issues or even compression sort of problems. So you have to weld in the roof bow, which is about 60-70 pounds in the UK from BMW, which is exactly what we've just done. Very stable, I can't get that to twist at all. Only fits in one position, wraps around the B pillars and just gets spot welded into position. Now why I'm showing you this is because I just want to show you how much extra sort of protection and preparation you need to do for a car that's got sunroof. These are all chips of metal that we've been cutting through the 8mm spot weld drill, churning away some of the roof spot welds, and that all falls down there. You're going to get loads of material from the old glue that we have to take off, and there's all sorts of things. Obviously you need to prime and prep the bare metal where the spot weld cutting bit, so the car has to be well protected. So inside glass is protected, what's left, which is basically just the quarters. The front doors are always the glass is sent down into the door, and then the doors are bagged up. So there's sheets on the car, and then there's weld through blankets, specialist blankets that we use that are all through the car, just making sure that none of these hot chips of metal get onto any of the carpets or any plastics. As you can probably imagine, all the seats are out anyway, but it's just basically double protecting everything, and that stops the car getting into a bad state. Then we can carefully vacuum up all these. Two people can then carefully take them out through the car again without dropping anything, and then once we're at a clean position, we can then think about getting to the next stage, which will be preparing the roof, having a final check around, and then looking at the bonding adhesive, making sure all our clamps are in place, test fitting the carbon roof, and if we're happy, then going forward with the actual bonding process. So we've got the new screen for the E46 M3 that we're doing the carbon roof on. Now the old screen was defective because it had lots of stone chips in it anyway, and the customer wanted a brand new one. He's opted for a genuine BMW one. They're not actually as much money as people think about. This is the Rolls-Royce of genuine screens. This is the Climate Comfort screen, which is the one which they call infrared, which means it's going to give less sun rays are going to penetrate the glass, which makes it less hot inside the cabin. And these are the ones that when you're driving along and you see another car oncoming, they've got that sort of green purpley hue all the way across the screen. So this car didn't have this specification from standard, but we've obviously obtained the part number and got that. They aren't serious money. There's rumours that these are £600-700 each. They're about £330 plus the VAT, and that's the best screen you can get for an E46 M3. There's the part number. And the rear screen was okay. That one wasn't chipped, nor did it break, so we're going to use the rear one, just fit a new one on the front, and then obviously new trims for the carbon fibre job. So the carbon roof's now fitted and bonded and cured over the last day or so, and we've also bonded in the gutter trim rails. Now the gutter trims don't use the original clips because that's on a metal roof. Some roofs like the Karbonius one have the carbon clips built into them. The Geoff Steel one is a racing product, so it doesn't, so they have to be bonded in. So that's the gutter trims, both sides bonded in. And the screens are still out. We're waiting for the screen technician to arrive to put those in, but as you can see the carbon roof is on, glass is still out, seats have gone back in. I'll just show you some of the interior. So the headlining is still not fitted yet, we're waiting for that. That's coming from BMW Germany, so you can see ITS head airbags here, all the wiring for the vanity light mirrors and things like that. Like I say, seats and interior back in now because all the welding work's finished. This is the bow with a piece that we had to weld in. That gets welded into just above the B-pillar on both sides. And you can see up here the bonding screed, which is on both sides, which is now squeezed out because during the roof clamping process, that's adhered perfectly. And you can see the really nice underside weave of the screen. So we're now just of the roof. So we're now just waiting for the screens to be fitted and then think about finishing things up inside. So we're just doing stage 1 water testing at the moment, which is waiting for natural rain, which as you can see has happened on the screen and on the side glass. And if we look up, we've obviously got no leaks, I'm pleased to report. And here, when you look closely, you can see the lovely bead, because we haven't got the headlining in yet, you can see the bonding bead, which goes all the way along, which is obviously an uninterrupted perimeter bead, and also bead across the roof bow at the middle, so we've not got any vibrations or any leaks, anything like that, which we're really pleased about. And as soon as we have confirmed this rain test or water test initial has been effective, which it has, then we'll be happy enough to sign that off and go to the next stage. Gives you an idea here. Now the screens are back in, you might be able to see the difference in the coloration. Remember I talked about this customer upgraded the front screen to a climate comfort, which is what gives you that blue sort of almost purple haze across the front screen in certain lights. So that's on there, obviously genuine trims, the roof, the gutter rails. We're nearly finished, just a few things inside. Like I say, once this rain test has been finished, we'll just let it get a bit harder. Then we'll go on to artificial rain, which is basically just a hose with a spray, various different spray patterns, and then even use a jet wash, because we need to face facts and know that everybody washes their car, and we need to make sure that it's watertight with jet washing. And when it is, then we can go on to rebuilding the interior. And it just so happens actually we've got another one of ours next to us. Another one of the ones we did a carbon roof on many years ago actually. This one's a Karbonius roof, and similar thing. This is a CSL replica, you might want to say, that the owner wanted everything. So we've got genuine CSL front bumper, we've got the roof, we've got the boot lid, we've got various other things. We've got carbon airbox, got lovely Lotus Evora seats, or GTE seats, which haven't yet been retrimmed in the correct red colour. But yeah, it's a work in progress interior on that one. But yeah, that one's turned out very nice, and that's another one that gives you an idea of carbon roof that we can do on the E46 M3s. So as you can see, we're now water testing the artificial rain, which is basically a jet wash. Obviously we could just put a hose on it, but we need to be realistic that obviously people jet wash their cars, so we want to make sure that there are no issues and rain. And we'll get somebody inside there shortly. It's actually going to be me. I'll put the camera down, go inside the car and make sure there's no water coming in. We'll do the angles around the side, around the back, and if all is well, then we can go forward with the rebuild process. So the carbon roof retrofit's finished on this E46 M3 now. As you saw previously, we've carried out the water testing, got the screens in, got the trims in, and we finished off with a genuine BMW headline, which was a really nice touch. Something that the customer spec'd. We wouldn't always need to go for that. Some people will go happily for a used headline in. Some people want new trims inside. And on this car, we've done that. You see the windscreens in, the fresh trims, the bonded gutter trim rails, rear screen, and then also we've got the new headline in, and even gone to make sure that we've got everything working fine. We've got the microphone set up in there on the right hand side with the 3-part microphone system. Obviously it does away with the sunroof switch surround because we've got a non-sunroof headline in. All the normal ultrasonic system is in place in the middle, and that just finishes it off to make a neat, nice install. And that's the carbon roof retrofit finished at Redish Motorsport. So if you're thinking about a carbon roof retrofit or sunroof delete, do let us know. We're happy to use almost any carbon roof. I mean, we do like the Karbonius ones. We've worked with the Geoff Steel ones. There are various other manufacturers as well. Can't get the BMW ones anymore, unfortunately, but let us know what you're thinking. If you've got a roof already, you want to supply us, or we'll look into getting one for you. We've carried out the procedure many times. It's a great addition to an E46, whether it be for road use, fast road or track, and does remove a nice amount of weight from the highest point of the car. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions on our process or would like a price for this work, do let us know and we'll be more than happy to help you.